Hi wrestling fans, thanks for clicking on the Dreaded D Rose Report. Got a lot of news here. Let's start it off with Big Show is now on Twitter at WWE The Big Show, all one word. And he's no longer using #1 Knucklehead. Didn't know he had it. The dark main event after last night's SmackDown taping in Bloomington, Illinois, we didn't see The Undertaker defeat Kane by DQ. And Howard Finkel is going to be appearing at WWE Developmental Show September 23rd, Tampa, Florida, and the show on the 24th in Punta Gorda, Florida. Never heard of it. But anyway, Jim Ross is also going to be down at Developmental all this week visiting. So it looks like maybe looking at NXT 4 somewhere. Anyway, Daniel Bryan's new theme music, by the way, is called Ride of the Valkyries. It's something to do with Americans Brutus, John Wilkes Booth, and Lincoln Conspiracies. I guess that was a book Daniel Bryan was reading. If you get real close, you can tell. It took less than 1 week for Michael Cole to return to NXT commentary. I guess when you quit, you can come right back. Michael Cole's scripted resignation on last week's edition of NXT vacated his play-by-play position for CM Punk, who took over announcing duties and started off Tuesday's NXT episode. Well, although viewed as one of WWE's most entertaining talkers, I guess, Punk was surprisingly quiet during the episode with Josh Matthews, even referring to Punk's lethargic at one point. And late in the episode, Cole announced that he's going to be back by popular demand. Punk stayed on commentary, however, suddenly got going, and his resurgence included a highlight remark about watching the Divas at home on NXT with his pants down, I guess. Him too? Huh. Anyway, the three-man team received some high marks from wrestling critics and the message board visitors, I guess, and Cole and Matthews, they're remaining on board as announcers, although Punk promised to join them next week. Anyway, here's containing some spoilers from SmackDown and Hell in a Cell. Kane versus Undertaker was confirmed for Hell in a Cell match at WWE's upcoming pay-per-view. A segment built around the match was highlighted by the return of Paul Bearer, who seems to be lining with Undertaker. And did I not tell you last week or so that Undertaker will not be able to get his powers back? He needs to dig up Paul Bearer and his urn. Apparently maybe I'm just too good. I don't know. I didn't hear it. No, anyway, I ain't going to give you the I told you so, but I probably didn't. Last night's episode of Monday Night Raw scored a 2.8 cable rating, the lowest in since all this year. The Irish Raw drew a 2.77, and then it went to 2.82, averaged around a little bit under 4 million viewers. The WWE's flagship program had not scored a rating below 3.0 since November 17, 2008, and viewership with them was about 4 million. All right. This is here's a statement. I have sucked it up for a while, and I've pretty much done everything I could do humanely. Do. This is what Matt Hardy said. I think it's time to just move on. We're back to that again. My God, move on. WWE's canceled shows on December 18th in Beaumont, Texas. Raw matches taped in Indianapolis for this week's Superstars. Goldust taking on William Regal. I think I might have told you about that. Official theme song for Hell in a Cell pay-per-view will be Sacrificed by Adam Smash. And it's said that Matt Hardy is going to be hoping to get his official release from WWE this week, hopefully. Daniel Bryan and Ted DiBiase both debuted their new music on last night's Raw. Monday night's Raw. And as mentioned before about Alex Riley, let me see. Let me go on down here, see if I get some good stuff. Oh, we got a new diva being introduced in WWE down south, Florida Championship Wrestling over the weekend. Her name is Vanna. Vanna is Su Yung, who wrestled for Glory, I guess, Memphis Ladies Wrestling, and various other independents. Anyway, she signed a deal back in July. Don't know any more on her. I'll have to check. And it's been announced Thursday on the episode of Impact that Shore would debut October 7th, live show. Shore is a gimmick, off of MTV's Jersey Shore, I guess. Both wrestlers were signed to talent contracts following their match tryouts. That's Becky Bayless and Rob Echoes. Madison Rayne, on the other hand, for last night's Ohio Championship Wrestling in Zanesville, Ohio, she took the former tag partner, took on a former tag partner, Neva. Odd names. Anyway, TNA Knockout, who is now a brunette, by the way, came out victorious. We're talking about Madison Rayne being brunette. Shawn Michaels is going to be doing a seminar at Cabela's in Kansas City, October 2nd, 10 a.m. Please make a note of it. Nexus star David Otunga, they made light of this the other day on Raw, I believe. And his fiancée Jennifer Hudson will be getting married later this year. The two will be moving out to Florida and then back to Chicago, where she came from. They had been living in Tampa since Otunga's been working out of Florida Championship Wrestling. EWI Insiders reported that TNA is either signed or very close to signing former champion, Diva champion, women's champion Mickie James. Mickie James recently polled her fans on Facebook and Twitter, asking them should she join TNA, and most of them said yes. Mickie James posted the following on her Twitter about the women's title, though. The retirement of the women's championship, she says, breaks my heart. The nostalgia, the legacy built off of those backs of every woman who ever paved the way for women like me and gave it credibility, honor, prestige, and truth. For every woman who carried the championship throughout generations, I know the power and history you feel holding it high above your head. You can never replace it with anything in mind. And my heart will truly be honored forever. Grateful to the women, before her that has graced the presence of it. And she says, thank you. TNA Knockout Mad Sexy Volume 1 is set to be released October 1st on Comcast. Time Warner, Bright House, Cablevision, Cox, Dish Network, AT&T, Verizon, viewership, about everybody, and maybe some local channels. This is going to be a one-of-a-kind pay-per-view special, and it's going to be hosted by the Playboy cover girl and TNA Knockout, Christy Hemme. Mad Sexy Volume 1 will feature matches involving TNA Knockouts, Angelina Love, and all the others. And this one-hour special will be available on pay-per-view basis at just $9.95 until December 1st on your cable or satellite provider. Pardon me. WWE.com has confirmed that Danny McBride will be a guest star on the October 11th edition of Monday Night Raw. McBride is the star of HBO comedy Eastbound and Down, and he's also starred in several films in recent years. I'm glad they told me who he was. I had no idea. All right, I'm going to run out the last 2 minutes here with a day in history. How about September 22nd? 1996, highlights from WWF In Your House, called Mind Games. Savio Vega defeats Justin Bradshaw in the Caribbean strap match. Owen Hart and the British Bulldogs defeated the Smoking Guns to win the WWF Tag Team title. Shawn Michaels defeated Mankind by DQ. Michaels retained the WWF Championship. In 1997, Disco Inferno defeats Alex Wright to win the WCW World Television title. In 2000, Terry Funk defeats Lance Storm to win the WCW US title. 2002, jumped on you. Highlights from WWE: Unforgiven, Chris Jericho defeats Ric Flair to retain the Intercontinental title. Trish Stratus defeats Molly Holly to win the women's title. Triple H defeats Rob Van Dam to retain the World Heavyweight title. Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker fight a double DQ. Lesnar retains the WWE Championship. In 2006, WWE Friday Night SmackDown debuts on the CW network. 2007, highlights from UFC 76. How did that get in there? All right, anyway, there's some birthdays. Ole Anderson, born that day, 22nd. 1942, Luther Reigns, remember him? 1971, Bob Sapp, born 1974. All right, I guess that'll do it for today. You don't have to put up with me anymore. I'm about out of time. And until I get an update on my system where I can do 15 minutes of horrible readings. Thanks for clicking. I gotta go.